Good evening, everybody. Happy
Hey,
Monday.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody who's already hanging out in the chat. Got some people that were even here from yesterday. Thanks for dropping comments early, Kilgore Trout. We've got, I'll shout out a couple of people and we'll get into our guests tonight. Jason Claiming Comics. He's already talking about books he's ordered from Second Sight from the catalog.
Oh, yeah.
That's really awesome. Louis Shadow Rabbit Clay Guy is here. We got a new subscriber here. Thank you. The real
Welcome.
Welcome. Wesley's Comic Collection.
Hey, Wes. How's it going?
We got two Canadians in here. Wesley and Canadian Comic Corner ordered the same ones.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Nice, guys.
And we're going to talk about, we got Freedom Verse. We got a couple things we're going to talk to them about tonight. And Marvin Wynn, one of the writers for Second Sight, is hanging out tonight.
Welcome in. So thanks for spending time with us.
Yeah, thank you. We've got two of the members behind the team of an indie publisher that's coming hot onto the scene right now with a lot of great titles. Second Sight Publishing. So with us we have Bradley Golden, the CEO, president, and founder, and Marcus Roberts, the COO, publishing manager, and submissions director. Bradley's also a writer on a couple of their titles, including one of the upcoming ones, These Damn Kids. Mm-hmm. And when we're talking to Marcus beforehand, he's also the editor on that same title. Mm-hmm. So everyone in the chat, please welcome in Bradley Golden and Marcus Roberts.
Hello.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Welcome in, boys.
What's going on?
We got a couple more people that just popped in. That's cool. One of your guys' writers is in here in the chat right now.
Yeah, I heard Marvin. What's going on, Marvin? Glad you dropped in. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick commercial for Marvin. His title, The Edge 1, sold out, went in for a second printing, actually.
Wow.
Edge
Congrats.
2 hit stores last month, I believe.
Nice.
So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, Marvin. And you all check out his book, The Edge.
Yeah, and one of our fellow YouTubers I know did an exclusive cover for The Edge #2. Just a Rican in his comics, Rod.
Oh, yeah, man, I love that cover.
Yeah, I think he said X-Men 210 was the homage that it was to.
Yeah.
So shout out to them there. So we like to kick these things off, really getting to know you guys a little bit better and letting the people watching either live or on the replay about how you got into comics, and then we'll go into a little bit more specifics with how Second Sight came to be what it is right now. So whoever wants to start out, Bradley or Marcus?
I'll start out. Actually, Second Sight started off at Second Sight Studios. Back here in 2016, I was just putting together Mississippi Zombie out of my mom's basement. I'm talking about copying them up off a printer, stapling them, taking the cons, giving them away and all that. From there, the following got kind of not huge, but I say lukewarm for it. And
nice.
I kind of put it on the back burner and started Parisian and Leave on the Light, which evidently got picked up by Antarctic Press.
Evidently.
But what actually got me into AP was a little story called Victoria Black on their magazine.
Ooh.
From there, I did 2 issues of that, and they liked the reception of that title, so they went ahead and did my Leave on the Light. Issue 1 was, I think, the second highest selling book at AP at that time. And so that went well. Amazing. They wanted another hard book from me in my studio. I gave them Cold Blooded, which is about the ice cream man that kills people.
That's so good.
Body parts, like ice cream toppings.
Love that.
Yeah, I have a wild imagination. But
I support
the
those.
story about the ice cream man that kills people before the one that we know everyone hears about right now.
These damn kids. Oh yeah. Yeah. So what I was doing with them was I was creating this singular horror universe. And so Cold-Blooded, Leo on the Light, and these damn kids, upcoming Sonny with me and Marcus Roberts there, they all tie into one big tale.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But after that, that and then Mississippi Zombie got picked up by Caliber. They liked what they saw. They signed my company to do 6 anthologies a year, and it could be any form.
That's dope.
That's where Monster Horrors came in. Then we got Mississippi Zombie. Then we got a couple more by a couple of our editors within the company that's something
really
that should come
awesome.
out by the end of this year. After that, we long story short.
No, I love it.
We got the diamond deal. Then from there, we just hit the ground running.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I ain't want to bore y'all to death.
No,
I love hearing all this stuff.
Yeah.
You've had some unique experiences.
Evidently, we just started off out of the basement of my mom's house. Period.
That's awesome. Marcus, how about you? How did you get into comics, and how did you get into working with Bradley with Second Sight?
Well, I actually
the truth.
I actually joined the comic book community. I've been reading comics all my life. I'll say this: I've been reading comics since I learned how to read. So for at least over half a century, I have been reading comic books. I'm 56 years old. I got in the present comic book community through the worldofblackheroes.com. I initially started out doing character bios, doing comic book reviews, doing comic book previews, and then eventually went on doing articles and doing interviews. One thing that we wanted to start doing at the time when I was there was to get more involved on the independent scene. So that's what I got a chance to meet a lot of like just awesome independent comic book creators. Got a chance to hear their stories, hear not only their successes, some failures, their attempts at trying, just hear all their experiences as an independent comic book creator. And I interviewed some. And one in particular, he and I really hit it off, Tony Cottrell, who is the CEO of Advent Comics. And Tony said, look, Marcus, I see your writing. I think your writing is good. If you ever do a comic book, I'll publish it.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
I wrote a comic book, The Protector. The Protector was nominated for a Glyph Comic Award back in 2019.
Damn,
and it was published there at Advent Comics. I wrote a second comic, Hedge Hollow, which was also nominated for a Glyph Comic Award in 2020. Damn. And that's published with Advent as well. Awesome. I had been doing just some writing here and there, talking with people, and Bradley took notice, and he and I started talking, and he said, look, I got this book called Mississippi Zombie, and would you write a horror story for me in Mississippi Zombie? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, man, we could do this. And then he told me, look, oh, man, the book has been picked up. We got a contract with Caliber. We got to turn out these books. I was like, yo, man, that is crazy. That's dope. Let's do it. And he's like, look, man, let's go ahead and take this to the next step. And let's start publishing books. So in May of 2020, May 5th of 2020, Cinco de Mayo, that's when Second Sight Publishing celebrates its anniversary. We celebrated 1 year this Cinco de Mayo. We're in our second year. We're publishing mainstream. We are an independent comic book publishing company. You know, we actually don't own, nor do we look to own the IPs that we publish. they've still the creators maintain their rights. We publish and distribute their books, and it's something to be able to help somebody like Marvin or someone like Aaron Pahara, working with somebody like Ramon Govia and his upcoming title Menagerie. I mean, just bringing somebody like Hanu Kasola and his books to North America, to the English language people. That is exciting, helping these guys get into the mainstream. And Bradley brought me in to help do this thing. So that's what I'm doing.
I love it.
That is awesome. So we kind of already talked about this one. Yeah, I had written down, I knew that they had done some stuff with Antarctic Press also, besides the ones you guys were talking about. So just doing all of those comics with other companies, you guys were like, let's do this. Let's start something new. Was there a particular moment that led you to say, I want to do this as my own company?
I'll let Bradley go first.
Well, the main goal in the beginning was with Mississippi Zombie, we got the comic comics deal, was we wanted that title to be a springboard for aspiring creators, independent creators, to get their work, the art, their story writing seen by the mainstream fans. So with that, it just occurred to me, hey, why not just publish complete titles on your own company? We have the groundwork already set if they don't have their own IPs within Mississippi Zombie.
Okay.
Comics. So that's when I went and talked with Marcus. I'm like, well, since we got this deal with Diamond, why not go ahead and become Zach, whereas I told him, the next image.
I love it.
And I always say the next milestone, but we are like on. Marcus always tell me
Milestone's making a comeback.
Really played a part with 4 Black creators, but anyway. I've always wanted to be like Image. So there you go. One blank pick.
I like it.
All right. Well, in my case, not so much breaking the mood or being a downer, but when I was a kid, you can imagine, I grew up in a small town in Georgia. And there in the late 60s, as a kid, going into a comic book store to get a book and being told to put that book back, that kind of stuck with me all my life. So even as I entered back into the comic book community in the early or in the mid 2000s, one of my motivations was to have my own company where no one will ever be able to tell me to put a book back.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And then, as I said, just I was Alfred Page and we were in South Beach doing a con there, and his book Chess, and reading Chess and seeing the reception of it, I told him, man, I love your book. I want to start a company so I can publish your comic book. This is how good I think your book is.
Wow.
So once again, as Bradley said, when we started talking, we both realized that with Mississippi Zombie, it was a big platform to bring in independent comic book creators who normally wouldn't get that type of exposure, who wouldn't get their names in previews in a book.
Yeah.
Let alone being with a company with esteem such as Caliber. So, that we're like, why not just expand on that idea? Because we knew guys who had multiple books in their series, and they were turning out these books, and their books were getting better and better. So we were like,
they got nothing to do with them.
Yeah, we need to get these books out.
I love that.
Just as I said before, I interviewed a lot of independent comic book creators, and I also am one of the administrators for a comic book group there on Facebook, ICC, Independent Creators Connection. So I see a whole lot of independent creators. I see a whole lot of good stuff out there, and just being able to help someone get their stuff out, particularly some of the stuff that I see these guys turning out. I mean, it is. I hate to make a comparison between Marvel and independent, because independent stuff is better in some cases, in a lot of cases. But since Marvel is the standard and DC is the standard we have to compare against, we got independent comic book creators that are turning stuff out that's better than what Marvel and DC are doing currently. And then they don't want $6.99, $7.99 for their comic book either.
You get to create whole different worlds with independent.
Yeah.
You're not stuck to the Marvel world or the DC world. It's
not just superheroes.
It's whatever you want it to be.
I hate to say that those comics have oversaturated the market, because it's not that they have oversaturated the market. It's just there are a lot of new storytellers out there with a lot of interesting characters, and these characters need some light shown on them. And as an independent comic book creator publishing house, we have positioned ourselves to be able to shine some light on a title like Lady Freedom, or like the upcoming title Silence from the Horror Month previews that has a spotlight on in the previews. Forsaken, a spotlight on in the previews. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt knowing people like Jonathan Hedrick, who's Freak Show Night that we've published, or like with even Hannibal Taboo and Quinn McGowan. It doesn't hurt knowing these guys, knowing how good their properties are, and having the opportunity to publish them. I mean, because we're talking about the cream of the crop of independent comic book creators. Like these guys, the stuff is outstanding. It just needs that light shown on it. So we're here to shine that light. As our company says, a second sight. We want companies to take a second look, to look back again and see what you're missing out on, because we're putting it right here in your face.
That's awesome.
Sure.
I was wondering about the naming, so that's the inspiration behind it.
That is.
I like it. I really like that.
So you said you moderate this Facebook group. How do you get most of your submissions? Are they through you actively seeking people out, people finding you through other connections, you hitting up like creators and saying, hey, write something?
All of the above.
All of it.
Okay.
A little bit in every pot.
All of the above. In the upcoming issue of Harvest of Horror, and I'm kind of proud about this. I went on LinkedIn and I put in a post about looking for submissions, and I had quite a few people to respond, but only one person actually followed through, sent their submission in, and they're being published in this upcoming issue. We've done posts for Facebook. We've done posts for Twitter. I hit people up I know, like, hey, I need you to do a story. I need a story. Someone would say, look, I don't do horror. I'm telling them, look, I can coach you. We can get a horror. Yeah, just try. People hit me up. There's a young man, Dante Berry. He works with Silverline Comics. He was introduced to me by Roland Mann. Roland says, look, man, Dante is new, but he's a great writer. He's just looking for a shot. Well, that's why we do Mississippi Zombie, for guys just like Dante. Dante submitted this story. I read the story. I was like, Bradley, we got to publish this, man. This is great. So in the upcoming issue 4 of Mississippi Zombie, Dante Berry's story will be there. And as I said, he works for Silverline Comics, and he was introduced to me by someone else. So, that's how we actually met Jonathan Hedrick. Jonathan first came to us. I met him at a con with his Freak Show Princess. I was like, man, I love this book.
You met him?
I love this book, man. He was like, look, can I publish this story? And boom, there we go.
I met him at a Pensacon in, what was that, May? I think that was May. Got him to sign it.
Wow. Yeah, Jonathan's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I met him in 2019 at the Lakeland Con.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Forever ago.
I think, that might have been 2020. I think it was 2020.
Seems like a decade, don't it?
I know.
I'm
2020
telling
was like 10 years, right?
I'm
Feels like it
telling
was
you.
forever.
Yeah, 2020 lasted 20 years or so.
Oh.
But we actually, I mean, we laugh and we joke, but we started our company in May of 2020. And we actually, Mississippi Zombie actually was published first in previews in May of 2020. So, right there at, the start of the pandemic, it might have been kind of dark for some people, but it was a great starting point for us. So, while we were saddened by the events that were occurring because of the pandemic, we were in the background looking at our comic book company take hold.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I started reading comics in the pandemic. I needed something to do with all my time.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think it did benefit in some way us.
Mm-hmm.
So with Second Sight, there's 3 imprints that you guys have: the sci-fi adventure Second Verse, the horror imprint Second Sight Presents, and then the hero imprint Freedom Verse. So what brought you guys to those particular genres? Was it stories that you guys were already getting ready to put out, or was it you guys wanted to hit those genres first? And then any plans for more genres that you're gonna try to tackle in the future?
Well, first and foremost, we are a hard company through and through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting submissions of titles like Duplicate, The Edge, Lady Freedom, Blood Scores the Chrome. And I talked with Marcus. I'm like, you know what? Horror is our bread and butter. Horror is our backbone,
Mm-hmm.
But in today's market, we need to branch off. We need to branch off to other genres, and that's when I got the idea of being a company for all kinds of stories.
Okay.
We chose to go the imprint route because if you are a customer going in the store, you see that Second Verse, or you see that Freedom Verse, or just Second Sight Present, you automatically know what kind of book you're going to get.
Okay.
And to me, that's something that, if you make it easier for the reader to pick what they want and have a lot of options for the reader to choose what type of story they want to read, then that's the recipe for a successful company.
Okay.
So you're trying to go for like the brand recognition with each of the imprints there, just to make it.
That's really smart.
Just walk up, you see Second Verse, boom. Yeah. I know what I'm picking up. Okay, exactly. I like it.
Yeah, and it's not designed to be a gimmick, because you have some publishing companies that you see all of a sudden this whole name for a different line of books, and it's still the same company. They're just publishing the books under another name. So and what I see is people gravitate toward the other line because of the other name, and they never do the association thing with the other company. So you are losing out on the other end, because now people only associate with that other name. But by having everything under the big brand, just branched off into its own imprint, you still see Second Sight, but you see Second Sight Freedom Verse, you see Second Sight Second Verse, you see Second Sight Present, but you see Second Sight. And instead of seeing the 5 titles you got over here in this one line, you see the 30 titles that Second Sight has, including the 5 or 6 titles in the genre you're looking for.
I think that's really smart.
And including the kids line. We just started the kids line. Second Sight Playground. Our first title.
I love that.
What should be in previews next month. Steampunk Snow White.
Oh.
Why are the
that's
kids'
dope.
books always so good?
They really are. I feel like across like any publisher, the all ages books just I
Phenomenal.
don't know, they're always really good.
Because kids
Yeah.
deserve to read good comics.
This is true. They do. They absolutely do.
Remember,
And you don't need horror and X-rated content to write a good book.
exactly. And remember, I said I've been reading comics since I could read. So, as much as I opposed the comics code because of how it limited the books and is stringent, just how stringent the rules were, at the same time, you need some type of control when it comes to the content that you publish for kids. So, you have a book like we're publishing for Matthew Blair and Frankie Washington, the Kaijus and Cowboys. I mean, what? Come on now, the kids love robots, the kids love dinosaurs. No blood, no guts, just action.
A little cowboy gunslinger.
Even with Alfred Page and his chess team, he has an all ages book called Chess City of Heroes, which you take out the blood, you take out the cursing, and you just leave the action and throw a superhero element in it. And what kid doesn't love that? So
that's amazing.
So is it just a more kid-friendly version of his title, or separate storylines and everything? Kind of like, I guess, Star Wars has like their adventures title, right, which is more child-friendly.
Yeah, it is a more kid-friendlier version. But I will say this about Alfred Page and his chess team. He is not afraid to experiment, because in Mississippi Zombie 2, which came out, I think, back in March or April from Caliber Comics, he has a story in there called Chess the Dead, which is a zombie story with the chess team.
Okay, so, there we go. So he's trying all the genres with him. I like it.
Yeah, he knows how to. I credit him as being such a good writer that he knows how to make things work within his chess universe, including that horror element, that Chess the Dead. So check out Mississippi Zombie 2 for that Chess the Dead story.
I really want to read this.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah. Got us all like, all right, now I gotta find this one and this one. And
yeah, I'm like, can I just like update my whole list?
Okay, well,
I mean, we've got,
let me give you a couple more to add to your list while I got it sitting here. You see that? This came out June 30th from Caliber. Harvest of Horrors.
Dang.
Got to get this book.
Who's in that anthology?
Now, in this anthology, you have Total Love, and hold on, let me get the table of contents so I won't guess wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories.
Oh wow!
So, of the 7 stories, you get the preview of Arisian, you get a preview of These Damn Kids, and a preview of Sunny. Those are 8 pages. You get 2 stories written by me, and a story written by Peter Brewer and Jaden Brewer. And then Bradley talked about this, the Leave on the Light trade. You can order this from your local comic book store. This the trade paperback.
Okay.
And hold on, wait a minute, I dropped something.
That one is what These Damn Kids is a prequel for, right?
And
no,
Cold-Blooded
Leave
trade.
on the Light is
Ice cream.
Oh yeah, it's Cold-Blooded. Leave on the Light is actually the main story. These Damn Kids is a prequel to that.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's dope.
And Sony would be a prequel to Cold-Blooded.
Okay.
Interesting.
You're building up a nice world here.
Yeah, but they all come together under one big story. Kind of like the Conjuring movies. how they got different
Yeah.
movies,
Okay.
but they all tell
Yeah.
the same thing. I took the same idea with comics.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, any tips and tricks to anybody who watches this now or in the future for publishing, for writing a comic? Any kind of words of wisdom you can give people? Anything you could tell them that you did that you don't recommend doing is also always acceptable.
Uh, well, I mean, I can go on and say, right. Look, come on, it has been said to death. We all know, right? The comic business is all about who you know,
Okay.
who you know, and who that person know. See, I got my break with Ben Dunn from AP. The only reason why I met him is because a friend of mine at that time knew him.
Okay.
So he reached out to him, he sent my pitch to him, and boom, he put me on an anthology book to see what I do, how my story will react to AP fans. And that first book sold out like worldwide.
That's amazing.
So it's definitely all about who you know.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's a very honest and important answer.
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't know the
truth.
people, it's hard to get the book in front of the right people to
You gotta
look
get your
at
foot in
it
the door
and
somehow.
to get it somewhere.
And then, quite honestly, to add to what he's saying, there aren't a lot of publishers out there that do like I do and pound the pavement looking for people. I mean, there are guys out there that do it, but when I say I pound the pavement, I have some people I've asked probably about 4 or 5 times because they happen to be in that loop of people that I ask, and loop back around to them, and I'm asking them again, like, oh, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean that. But it's who you know, because primarily, if you're relying on someone that doesn't have as much exposure as you, who hadn't been in the business, who doesn't have the connections, then you'll stay on the level you are at. But you have to network. You have to meet people. You have to get to know people. You have to make yourself approachable, because you have some guys that, irrespective of how good their stuff may be, they aren't approachable people. So people pass over them. Never forget that it is a business, and when you're approaching a publisher, then you have to approach in a business manner. I think that's one of the things that, as a business, as a publishing business, the reason why the independent comic book creators come to us is because they are looking for someone to actually conduct that type of business for them, so they don't have to. And at the same time, they're looking for a fair contract. They want their share. They want that equal share, or at least a fair share. So, you have to conduct business. So my advice is to learn the business and stick with it.
Smart. I like it.
So we're looking at what's in the previous catalog this month. We got a lot of great titles coming up from you guys, and so these are all the Second Sight Presents titles, right? This month.
Yes, this is our horror month with them previews. So we just had straight horror titles.
Yeah,
That Forsaken cover B.
Looking through all of these, and wow. I've gotten to, you had sent me the advanced previews of Ironhead and These Damn Kids that I've looked at. I haven't looked at Origin yet. That's next on my list. I got a couple I'm trying to catch up on reading, but I think there was one other that you sent, the Horn Island Trilogy. So I'm going to need reviews for those once I get to read them. But I did post reviews for the other two already, and they're just incredible stories.
Well, for anybody publishing a comic book, here's the importance of reviews. Because of the reviews, that the advanced reviews that we were receiving for These Damn Kids, Bradley and I said, you know what? We need to bring aboard an editor. And the editor happened to be me. So, so yeah, advanced reviews are very important. Very important, because everyone was saying how much they enjoyed the story, but there were just a couple of things that kept coming up. And I was like, okay, we got to eliminate that, because we have to present the very best book that we can.
Yeah,
that's smart.
Yeah, if you can take a really good book and make it even better, hey.
Yeah. I'm all here
It's
for that.
definitely going to get better.
And also, I want to throw out that the Horn Island Trilogy is actually my comic.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
I'll be reading it very soon.
It is the collected stories from Mississippi Zombie.
Oh.
And in our first issues of Mississippi Zombie, I serialized the story. So for those who missed out on buying the actual Mississippi Zombie books, you'll be able to get my story here in the collected form, the Horn Island Trilogy.
That's awesome.
Trying to share the specific tab that had that. Here we go. I like how you guys have Stefano Cardacelli's art on a lot of the covers, and I think he did some of the interiors with Jonathan Hedrick, right?
Yes, he's part of the Second Sight Publishing family. We publish actually, like we have one of his titles, Ironhead, that's in previews this month. We publish actually 3 or 4 more of his titles.
Yeah, I'm really loving his art style. And Ironhead, the story was like really beautiful. It's a beautiful told story.
It was. I think fans of Stefano will really appreciate his storytelling, and any person that's looking for a book with just great art, and I mean great eye-popping art, along with a great story, his books are right there.
And yeah, I mean, Zombie Story, we're probably gonna definitely have some eye-popping, right?
Oh yeah.
Some gooey eyeballs, perhaps.
Some eye-popping art and some maybe literal zombie eyes popping out.
Oh yeah, we do zombies. That's one thing. We do zombies there at Second Sight, with both the Mississippi Zombie title, with Jonathan Hedrick and his Freak Show universe, which that Freak Show Kingdom title that's being published, or that's in the previews, is a collection of 3 of his Freak Show tales: Freak Show Jester, Freak Show Princess, and Freak Show Knight.
Okay.
This one here, which
That's
is
convenient.
2 different covers. There's a Cardacelli cover on it, and there's this is crazy art here too.
Yeah, the Carlos Vila.
Yeah. And I hopped on to the Freak Show world with Freak Show Knight, so I was a little bit late to the party. Oh, can't go back over there yet. We'll have a implosion of the internet, it looks like. So I'm excited that this is coming out, and it collects everything from the Freak Show world. Yeah,
Jonathan is an excellent writer, and while he does publish other material, other books that are good, he had a very successful run with The Recount, published by Scout Comics.
I love that book.
The book was off the chain. When I talked with him, he was like, I know you all are a horror company. And I told him, look, you bring your horror stuff to us. Bring your horror stuff to us, and we'll do you right. And so far, so good. When Freak Show Night hit the stores, it sold out.
Yeah. That was one that I learned about after the catalog cut off and everything. So I was like, hope my store has it. Walked in, they had it, and I was like, yes.
My stuff did not, so I'm hoping they have Freak Show Kingdom. But I mean, I'm real curious about everything coming out. There's scroll back up, Jeremy.
Yeah, the Forsaken.
Yeah, Forsaken. That cover is just like the coolest thing.
Yeah.
This I'm sold. She's got this crown with these knives. I'm sold.
The story itself, it's gonna knock you off your feet. It's gonna knock you off your feet.
I love
it. When Bradley and I get submissions, and I'm quite sure he'll agree with me. You know, we go wow over a lot of the stuff we get, and this was one of those things. When we got it, we was like, wow, yeah, wow, yeah. We are the English language publisher of this comic, so you want the comic in English, you get it from us. Same thing with Hanu Kasolo and his Blood Skull and Chrome. We are, and it's not in this previous, but we are the English language and North American distributor for that book. So if you want it, you want to get it here in the States, and you want it in English, you get it from Second Sight Publishing.
That's always cool, bringing in those titles that we, otherwise over here wouldn't be able to read because, well, if we don't know the language that they're written in, there's no way we're reading them.
Exactly. But that it's all in submission. Our submissions are open. And when we say that, we actually mean that. Our submissions are open. So we have people who submit from other countries who want to be published. And if we like their stuff and feel like, it's publishable, then we publish it. We ask for translation, they translate, and we publish. Our submissions are open. Oh, this title here is Silence. This is another one of the spot-on titles for the month. And I believe that this is going to be a sneak-up hit because Evan, the story that Evan has told here, coupled with the artwork, it is awesome. It is awesome. And that's one thing about the horror titles that you see for this month. We have a little bit of everything. Yeah. We have a little bit of actually every style and subgenre within the horror lines.
Yeah, I like that this is about a comic book creator trying to make a comeback with Mystical Amulet. But I can see so many ways that's going to go wrong.
Okay.
That's
it's cursed,
cool.
Right? It's definitely cursed.
Yeah, it is going to surprise a lot of people just how good this book is.
And that
awesome.
topic, just for people reading comics, is something that's like, oh, all right, yeah, no, and I see why Diamond gave it a spotlight.
Yeah, that's unique.
Well, that A cover, the A cover, when we saw that cover, we were like, yeah, this thing is going to fly off the shelf.
Yeah, it's unnerving.
It is.
Some people like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I read horror comics.
It is beautiful for me as a horror person.
Yeah.
Like the wide open mouth scream and yet silence.
Yeah.
You just get a chill there.
Will hear you.
Yeah. And not even be able to
no,
like,
absolutely not.
Yeah.
To me, that just is incredible. Setting up what could be happening in the story, like this one here. This one, the mention of a dark wizard had me sold. We both.
I want that cover beat.
And we just took down a dark wizard, so that has me sold. And I was already on the Freak Show train there. Been checking out these other ones. I already said these.
Everyone I know that has read Freak Show has loved it too.
Yeah. This one was awesome. This one I gotta check out, but I know you guys are putting it out with all these other ones, and Bradley's writing it. it's gonna be good.
It's a dope cover.
Yeah, that's my version of the Thing, the horror movie Thing.
Okay.
That's my version of it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, you got these damn kids. Is my version of Children of the Corn, and
Oh, nice.
Sonny is my version of Child's Play.
It's like alternate versions of all of these horror titles. Okay.
I get behind that.
And I mean, we've got this like Cthulhu-like beast back here.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Yes, I love Cthulhu.
I knew that would get you.
I love Cthulhu.
But to me, the second cover is the best. To me.
Oh.
Yeah, I like the second
When
cover too. I'm
she's
not gonna
like
lie.
creeping in the dark and he's right behind him, and you can see his breath.
Once again,
That is
Carlos Vila.
incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna need that.
So after this interview, I'm going to be reading this, and we'll have a review soon. Because people need to know about that. Wow.
It's Cthulhu. The review is amazing. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
I think the only one we haven't really touched on here is this one. We got a one-shot.
Ooh, look a badass.
Athena. Oh yeah. Our print manager and the editor of the Freedomverse, Larry Spike Gerald.
Okay.
This is his one shot along with Rod Espinoza.
This looks dope.
When I read it reminded me of the old movie Queen of the Damned.
Okay.
Vampire movie. You know, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I see. So we got, mortal existence
Immortal.
for 3,000 years.
I'm down. She looks badass. I'm down.
And once again, I believe this is going to be another sleeper hit.
Yeah. And we got Rod Espinoza doing the cover B.
Oh, is that a dragon?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
yeah. Dragons, vampires, or vampiric-like.
I'm down.
Things going on.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it for people because I know Spike will be a little disappointed, but Athena actually isn't a vampire, yet she has to drink blood to survive, and that's why she has the vampiric look.
Okay.
Interesting.
And she has been banished to an island of monsters. So then that 3,000 year period, that's where she's been, on this island of monsters, having to survive by drinking their blood.
Is that one spooky cat next to her?
That is two
little spooky cats. I love it.
Oh man, that's awesome. So
I need all of these apparently.
Horror lineup you guys got coming in is awesome. And like we said before, Stefano Cardacelli's art on this one is just incredible too.
Yeah, and some may wonder why we would choose this title, Ironhead, to go in with the horror line, but you read the book, so you know how graphic it is.
Mm-hmm. It's not horror in terms of like creepy, spooky. Anything like that. It's horror from the gore side of things.
From a battlefield perspective, it's horrific seeing all this gore happening all around you.
Yeah, and there's a bit of I'd say emotional horror on our main character too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
great looking,
phenomenal looking stuff. My pre-orders are about to shoot up.
So, Spark Comics, is that duplicate I see behind you?
That is duplicate.
Yes.
That's duplicate.
And that's duplicate over here.
Yeah, that.
1 and 5 in the issue 2.
Great book. That's a great book.
Yeah, that was really good.
Enjoyed it.
Wonderful.
Seen Carla all across YouTube.
She hangs out on a show that a friend of ours do.
Yeah, her and Marvin actually were on there together a couple times, I think. Now they've been hanging out with them.
That was that Duplicate is when we first got the title, and Bradley was telling me like, "Hey, have you read this book? You need to read this book because this book is good." And I initially was like kind of putting it off, but once I read it, I was sold. I was like, okay, yeah, Bradley, how come you didn't tell me about this earlier?
I've been trying for a week.
You gotta listen.
Yeah, that's really funny. But yeah, I've heard her, tell her story about, creating it, and especially the issue 2. I think she was saying she was just on Spine Ticks again this last Saturday talking about it because issue 2 just came out last week. How she was, I think her son was just born when she was writing issue 2.
Yeah.
And so the whole process of writing and, taking care of her child and all that, it was so cool to hear all of that in the creative process.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about being an independent comic book creator who also publishes independent comic book creators. We know how it is. We have been there. We've done that. We know what you mean by the primary job. And we know the importance of the primary job.
My primary job is a crazy schedule.
Exactly. We understand family issues. That it is so much that because we are independent comic book creators that we understand because we've been there. We've had bad contracts. We've been screwed over on deals. We've been there. So, we really relate heavily to our creators that we publish and understanding them and what they're sacrificing and what they're going through to actually produce the books and meet the deadlines and meet the schedules and what I mean, just to get the books to us so they can be published. And we don't forget that, and we don't take it lightly.
Yeah, and I also want to say I saw this news that Marvin's title, The Edge, is going monthly. Is that going to be in the next catalog that starts out?
Starting next month, Bradley.
Congrats, Marvin.
That's awesome.
Next month.
And it's funny. I saw where someone made mention that only with independent comic book creators would title going monthly be news. But for an independent comic book creator to have enough work to go monthly is a big thing. When we all know for a fact, if you could get 4 books out in a year, you have done some things. So to be able to go monthly, which means for at least the next 8 or 9 months, he's going to be putting books out.
Yeah.
You just got to work smarter, not harder. You just got to work smarter.
There you go.
Oh yeah, definitely got to.
And then
the protector marks.
The Protector was, as I said, the first comic book that I did, and I did a Kickstarter for it. My first Kickstarter, I was nervous and ended up getting messed over in the end by the original artist that I hired for the book, and scrambled and find another guy who said, you know what, he screwed me over too. I'll do your comic book for half the price, for a quarter of the price, man. I just want to get this comic book done. So that's where I'm at. And as I said, it's my first Kickstarter, and I was real disappointed, even though I had been warned that, this happens, that, artists get ghosts. And I was just saying, independent comic book creator, we know how that is. The artist gets ghosts, and you don't hear from them for months on end. And I'm like, this is crazy. He got a contract, sweet contract. was going to give him 17% royalties from the sales of the profit of the book. How can you mess that up?
Oh man.
And he got ghosts. So it was a mad scramble. But the Protector, yeah, that book actually it took me 2 years to get that book, to make that book, because, like as I said, my first book, so I had to actually learn how to write the scripts, and then once I learned how to write the scripts, I had to learn how to do pacing for scripts for comic books, and then I had to learn, what the duties of the artists were and how to work with the artists and what I needed to do to make it easier for the artist to draw what it is I want. So it took me a couple of years to learn everything I needed. And then once I learned it, I was like, okay, yeah, I need to go ahead and try this. And as I said, I did the script, did the book, I took it to Tony Cottrell at Advent, and he published it.
Nice.
Awesome. It's a long journey. It sounds like
Well,
that off.
yeah, it is, and I think every independent comic book creator's story basically is the same. Bradley started in the basement. I started out writing and rewriting until I got it right. You know what I mean? All these stories, the beginnings are pretty much the same, which is we paid our dues, we persevered, and we didn't give up. We kept on until we hooked on with some good people. Bradley with AP and me with Advent.
Yeah, story of perseverance.
Oh yeah.
And Chamorro is asking if we can get a Protector Lyaxia crossover going.
Now that's possible because with the Book of Lyaxia by Aaron Pahara is set in this place called the Nexus, which is where all the gods of mythology meet. So you have African gods, you have the Egyptian gods, you have Romanian, Slavic, you have Norse, you have the Greek gods. They all are here. All the pantheons of the different mythology are all here in this place called the Nexus. And there at the Nexus, you find these twin brothers that are set to rule. One is set to rule, and it takes off from there. So, if you hadn't checked out the Book of Lyaxia yet, check out the Book of Lyaxia.
That sounds right up my alley.
One I haven't gotten to check out yet.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. Send me your addresses, and I'll send you all some comp copies.
Oh,
I said that live, so I can't take it back.
That is so nice.
It's just our small way of saying thank you, because if it wasn't for folks like you all, talking to people like us, we wouldn't be able to get out there. So it is our way of saying thanks for putting us on.
Well, thank you guys
for being on. Come on and hang out.
I know when Bradley and I were talking on Twitter, he was saying he doesn't do a lot of these, and I think this is awesome to get Second Sight out there. I think is it Chamorro's channel that you're going on at some point later? I got added to an Instagram group that I think I might be there.
I think it's TM Nerdy, I think.
Yeah, Travis.
Okay.
Yeah, July 28th, I'll be there. I'll bring him too.
Bring the party.
Bradley hired me to talk. That's really, he gave me all those fancy titles just to pacify me.
I'm camera
he hired
shy.
me to talk.
I'm camera shy. I'm very camera shy.
You both, we've done a couple interviews. Oh, I guess we've done probably a lot more than a couple. It feels like a couple, but it's also like I don't know. We've been doing it since February, March, somewhere around there, and this is great because there's titles that we have read from you guys. There's titles we haven't gotten to check out yet, and one of the things that I've always found with the previews catalog is the companies that have the smaller smaller press, like you guys, that don't necessarily get the spotlight as some of the other ones like Image and Marvel, it is hard for the readers to find you guys.
Mm-hmm. Or even the shops.
Yeah, or the shops. There's some shops that order off of the final order cutoff, and Second Sight's not on the final order cutoff, which that's a weird way to order only off of final order cutoff, but that's a whole other thing. So we try to talk about the books that, do get hidden in there and maybe not talked about, the books that we read and we love and think need that spotlight. So getting to talk to you guys about everything with the company and all the books you guys are putting out was, an opportunity. We were like, yeah, absolutely, because these are books that need to be talked about.
Gives us more stuff to read too.
Yeah. Adds to our pull list.
Well, we're definitely working hard to put out great independent titles, because as I said before, there's so many good books out there, and I won't even start calling names because I'm going to leave somebody out. But there's so many good books out there by so many great people that deserve to have their books brought to light. And we as a publisher, as I said, we're open. I know there are other small press publishers out there like us that are also looking for independent creators to bring their stuff to. I mean, one thing that I say to people that tell me about having dreams of writing for Marvel or working for Marvel that already have their book, and I tell them, why dream of working for Marvel when you can publish your book with me and have your book published right beside a Marvel comic book? Because the books are going in the same book, the previous catalog. They're going to the same retail shops that the Marvel book. The same retailers are going to get a chance to see your book that would see your story in a Marvel book.
Well, and they're not necessarily willing to take on unknown writers either. Sometimes they like seeing, your other work before they'll take you on.
Yeah, that's true, and that's undeniable. But
yeah,
you have to start. You got to start, and you can't be afraid. And as long as there's somebody willing to take a chance on you, then go for it. That's the one thing. And talking with Aaron, and I know I've mentioned him a couple of times tonight, but talking to Aaron Pahara, I met him at a con, and I'm willing to take a chance on. I was willing to take a chance on the book of Alaska because after reading it, I was like, man, this story is dope. I believe some other people will like the story. Subsequently, we donated 1,000 copies of the book of Alaska to one of the school systems here in the state of Florida.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, they felt like the book was good too.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's always good to be able to, do that kind of thing for school systems, get out there to the community and help with literacy, those types of things.
Yeah. Well, I laugh about this now, but when I was coming up, the teachers would take comic books from us and tear the comic books up because we couldn't bring them to school. And now schools have them in the libraries. They're teaching from them. So I'm like, wow, times have changed. Now let me get my book into school.
Gotta make up for lost time.
Yeah, make up for lost time.
Yeah. Looks like, picked up 6. Nice.
We appreciate it.
Chess, Freak Show Night, Lady Freedom, The Edge, and Lyaxia. What am I missing?
Get Athena, because it looks
Blood
really
Skull and Chrome. Divine Retribution.
Battle of the Broken Heart. That's Stefano's trade. Man,
what else? Live on the Light and Cold Blooded.
Hey, Kevin.
Get them all. Buy all of it.
Yeah, and Duplicate. And then everything.
And Duplicate, yeah.
Everything that's in the catalog right now, just.
The whole list over here.
Yeah, I've got some of them on the side. Some are the current ones, some are future ones. I was just kind of pulling titles off. We've got the man from Happy Tank Comics here, Kevin.
Welcome.
Hey,
always-
Kevin, hey, how you doing, man?
I always tell people to go back and
Me and
check
him
out
friends,
that
too.
Mississippi Zombie, because that was our first one, and that book was fun to write. It actually was fun to write because you brought together, the different horror styles from different writers and put them all in one book with a common theme, which was the zombie apocalypse hits Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there somewhere that there's like a mass market version of that people can buy still, or is it kind of just secondary market now for Mississippi Zombie?
There actually was a second printing that went out to the comic book stores for issue 1, but I think that was maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
you
Might
can
still
go
be
to-
out there.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
still be out there. You can always order it
Two
from
miles.
the comic book store, or go to the Caliber website and purchase it from there. It's also sold Amazon, Books A Million.
Barnes and Noble, you can get it.
Okay.
Books a Million, yeah, just anywhere.
It's
It's
out everywhere there. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna have to start hunting that one down because everything you guys have said about it sounds right up my alley.
Well, I think you really enjoy issue 1. Issue 1, the set of stories. You got a couple of stories from Bradley Golden there. Story from me, and story drawn by Rod Espinosa in that first one.
Nice.
And in the second issue, you have Travis Gibb, Jonathan Hedrick. You have me. You got Alfred Page, and who am I missing, Bradley? I'm missing one person.
Me?
The Butcher Brothers story.
Yeah, and that too.
I've talked to Travis on here. He wrote Voodoo Nations also.
Oh, okay. Voodoo Nations.
I met him same place I met Jonathan at Pensacon.
Yeah.
And had him come on.
Well, you both have lived in Florida. I live here in Florida, and the one thing is we have like 2 and 3 cons, sometimes more, going on a month, and you get an opportunity to meet a lot of the creators who live here. So I met Travis early 2019. It might have been the end of 2018 when I met Travis at a convention, and I see him frequently at the cons, and that's how I got a story from him for Mississippi Zombie. I was already reading his Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies book.
Yeah,
so
that was great.
I told him, I said, look, man, I need a horror story. This is how we talk to each other. I said, hey, man, I need a horror story. And he's like, a horror? I said, yeah, man, I need a horror story. I said, I need a horror story.
Just right.
It's so funny. The more of these that we do, it's like, oh yeah, I know that guy from this, and work together on this thing.
Everyone's kind of interconnected.
Like you were talking about, the connections in the comic world are so important.
Exactly. Well, and when it comes to the stories, and when it comes to the submissions, that's like with Hannibal Taboo. Hannibal said, "Look, horror isn't really my wheelhouse." I said, "Man, I need a horror story, man. You are one of the best writers out here. I need a horror story, Hannibal." So he started writing a horror story. He's written one of the best horror stories I have read so far. It's like, this is not in your wheelhouse, man. You just lied to me.
It is your wheelhouse. It's not in your wheelhouse. It is your wheelhouse.
You own this house, yeah. But that I often do that. I am not shy or afraid to ask people for either one of you writers, submit me a horror story. Caroline, do you write? Yeah, I need a horror story.
Really?
So
we both been thinking about actually, but hasn't happened yet.
And the thing is that the whole beauty of it is when we think of horror, because we know there are those subgenres, because we know it doesn't have to all be one thing, then you can really play off of someone's strength. That's why, as we talked about Alfred Page and his chess property and writing the horror story with the chess, because horror isn't just limited to vampires and werewolves. It's thriller. It's a lot of different things. So it's just a matter of being able to write the story. My next entry into the Mississippi Zombie franchise is called Zombie Heist.
Oh, what?
So
okay. That sounds awesome.
And it is. It's a horror story. It's a straight up zombie story, but there are other elements into it that makes it a good story overall.
Awesome. I know we're a little over on the hour time, but I think we have just maybe one more question. I think, Caroline, you're hovering over it right now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So we've talked about cons. Any cons you guys are coming to in the future? Any plans for any big cons?
We'll be doing, Bradley and I will be doing the Tupelo Con.
Ooh.
And that's the 25th and 26th of this month.
Okay.
And then we'll be at MegaCon.
It's going to be
Nice.
And then we'll be at MegaCon there in Orlando, which is August 11th through the 14th. We'll be at Daytona Beach, the Daytona Beach Comic Con. That is, I think, the 17th to 18th of September.
Okay.
And then we'll be at Spooky Empire in Orlando.
Ooh.
There at the end of October.
That sounds fun.
The 22nd through the 24th.
That sounds fun.
Sticking to like the Florida cons for right now.
Well, when things first started opening up, these were some of the first cons that opened. So we were able to. Yeah, MegaCon is going to be good. And then with Bradley and I are both from the South. Bradley is from Mississippi. I'm from Florida. Both being from the South, we like the Southern cons. We do plan on venturing in some of the other places, but
slowly but surely.
Coming over to New Orleans in January.
Yes, and I think I can do New Orleans in January.
That's where I'm at.
I have ventured as far as Detroit. I was in Detroit one October, and it started snowing on me.
Oh, no.
And I was like, look, I'm from Florida, man. It's still 80 degrees. I got to get out of Detroit.
Yeah, so, I went to college in central Pennsylvania where they had -degree wind chills. And then we'd go to Florida for Christmas to be with our family where it's like 60, 70 degrees outside.
And
yeah,
like, this is nice. I like this. I like jeans in the winter.
Marvin's up in Pennsylvania, isn't he? He's up in that area?
Yeah, Marvin lives in Pennsylvania. Actually, Carla lives there as well.
Okay. So he's going over to Connecticut for Terrificon at the end of July, it looks like.
It's fun.
Awesome. So anything else that you guys want to talk about or plug before we wrap up tonight? Who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, we pretty much talked about it all.
I do have the website for Second Sight down in the description below for those watching. Anywhere else that, I mean, I know you just recently started doing more with Instagram, I think, Bradley. I think I saw the Second Sight posted a few things recently.
Yeah. That's actually our PR guy. He created that Instagram, but it's Second Sight Publishing 2021. Mine's is Bradley Golden 6.
Yeah.
And I'm an old guy, so I'm not on Instagram.
Where
deal
can
made
we find you?
I'm on Facebook, Marcus Roberts. I'm on Twitter and on LinkedIn. But I made the deal with my kids that they can have Snapchat and Instagram, and I will not bother them on that. So you
That's fair. Respectable
That's fair.
decision.
So you won't find me on IG or snapping anywhere.
There we go. What about MySpace?
I'm
You
still
know
on
what?
there.
Wow.
I never had a MySpace.
I had a MySpace.
I never
I
had
had
a
one.
MySpace.
Caroline.
I had it.
I had a top 8.
Yeah.
See,
I bet I still have the top 8 selected in there, and I have no idea who those people would be anymore.
no, I never had a MySpace. I heard so much about it, but never had one myself.
I'm missing out too hard.
I missed. Landon was asking this, but Marvin caught that and answered. Yeah.
Nice.
They were asking, Marcus is the COO of Second Sight, and Bradley is the CEO of Second Sight Publishing.
That's us.
Big dogs in the house.
Yeah. And yeah, Twitter also, there's the Second Sight Publishing Twitter. I've briefed you guys a couple times.
Yeah. At Second Sight Pub.
Good luck winning those. There we go. But yeah, I'm glad that that's gotten people, interested in going back for some of the back catalog that you guys are starting to build up with Second Sight, and looking forward to the future of especially these books that we've got coming out in the catalog right now. I think we're both
there's some great ones looking.
Wanting to get all of them.
I think I would be remiss in my duties if I don't mention that for Previews catalog, July is their horror month special. So we, along with a lot of other companies, did horror stuff. But as a horror company, we were looking forward to this month because we teased some horror stuff here and there in the first books that we put out, but we were just building up for this month. Like, this is what we do. We are a horror company. All the other stuff is just like the icing, but this is the cake right here. This is us.
That's awesome.
Now, Sports Comics. Now, I will need your address after the show. I do have. Well, I am getting some ash cans for these damn kids with a different cover, and it's foil.
Ooh.
And I'm only printing 50 of them up. 20 shops are getting them that carry Second Sight titles, and
That's
so
awesome.
you can say it's going to be like a 1 in 50.
Wow, that is so nice.
That's dope.
I'm so excited about this book. So that is super cool.
Definitely.
Gonna have to put that one on the wall.
That's gonna I gotta shift some things on the wall.
That one will also have a Stefano Corticelli cover.
Ooh.
I'll show it to you. Later on, you can kind of throw it off if you want to.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And the funny thing is, he stole my cover.
And I have another one by Stefano. It's for the Kickstarters, the Kickstarter backers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That one, it's a homage to Korn, where it's got the kid like behind him.
Yep. Yeah, I remember when I was doing the review for it, I was looking for the art to put on to the thumbnail, and I saw that, and I was looking through the Kickstarter and all the covers. I was like, man,
That's dope.
I missed out on that. I don't know if you guys. Oh, there we go.
So
if
you ordered the black and white cover
for the catalog right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, yeah.
Okay, all right. That's Jonathan Loud. Now that one, it doesn't say that it's going to be foil, but it will be foil. It'll be black and white foil.
Ooh.
Oh man,
Oh, that's unique.
let me just show that cover real quick. Let's see. Share.
Yeah, I kind of missed that going on previews. That would be foil.
That's
That is
awesome.
awesome. That's gonna make a lot of people happy to have a surprise foil cover. Because that foil, people are loving the foil right now.
Yeah, it's really big lately.
If it goes the way I'm thinking it's gonna go, it's gonna have when you move it, it's gonna have a rainbow effect going across the top of it.
Oh man,
that's awesome. That like chromatic effect.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna order a couple of those. Oh man, that is That's gonna add to the creepiness going on here.
Yeah, we were very, very purposeful for this month, and I actually been plotting and planning this month since probably March.
This is your guys' month to shine. This is your guys' bread and butter.
Exactly. And we kept saying to ourselves, we do horror comic books, but if only there was a month where we could just hit them with nothing but horror, where we could just give them just the most gruesome, the bloody, the eerie, the scary, the creepy, just a month where we can do this.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, and this was the month. So, and as I said, you don't just get like a bunch of gory books. You get some of everything. The Horn Island Trilogy is different from what you see in These Damn Kids, which is different from what you see in Athena, which is different than what you're going to get in Silence, which is different than what you're going to get in Forsaken. And it keeps going on through all those titles. But each of them with the sole purpose of trying to scare the daylights out of you.
That's what I'm here for. And so then the next month, does it kind of go back to a mix of horror titles and then like the titles like Duplicate and The Edge and Chess?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, the next month we will start our rotation again. We have some new titles that are coming in. We've expanded from 4 or 5 titles to we will be doing 7 or 8 titles a month from now on in previews.
That's awesome. Congrats on the expansion there.
Thank you. We something else that we have worked on and just planning and strategy. Really, we want to grow. We don't want to grow too fast. We want to bring more people in, but we don't bring people in with the false promise that you sign today and we'll have your previews tomorrow, because it doesn't work like that. We have to make sure that they have an understanding that once you get published, production is the key. So if all you have is one book, I'm willing to wait for you to get at least 3 done, because once you hit previews, once your book is published, the retailer and the reader is gonna wait 3 or 4 or 6 months for your next issue to come out. So it's some grooming, so to speak, that has to occur before the creator actually starts his run in previews. And we have to make sure that understanding is there.
Yeah, want it all smooth, ready to go once it's hitting the book.
Exactly.
Well, I think we'll wrap up here to not take up too much of your guys' time tonight.
We could
But
talk to you
I
guys
love that we're
forever.
able to keep talking for so long about everything that you guys got going on.
This is
That's
awesome.
awesome. And shout out to everybody that's hanging with us in the chat and
Yes, thanks
dropping
everyone.
comments and talking about your books. That's what we like to see.
Oh yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate you all having us. We're always available. Hit us up anytime. And like Bradley said, we want you all to send us the addresses where we can send these books to you, because we want to do we are serious about showing our appreciation, because we really appreciate that. And I tell you what, we have a fan, and I'll use her first name, Trish. We know how good of a fan she is for us, and she will tell you herself, when Marcus says he's going to send you books, Marcus sends you books. He does not play. He does not play. So,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
another
more
one.
people looking to talk to you.
All right, yeah. Whenever, hit up Bradley or me, and we'll set something up to talk. The Promiscuous Time Traveler. That's great.
Yeah, I think he just started some stuff on YouTube. I think he interviewed the writer of By the Horns.
Okay.
So he's starting out his interviews and all. So he's a great guy. We've been talking on Instagram a little bit. So
awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for being here, talking about everything that's going on with Second Sight. It's always awesome to get that peek behind the curtains at what's going on, and hearing about the titles and how excited you guys are about publishing these titles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you for having us, man.
Absolutely. And we'll say goodnight to the chat. Catch you guys later.
All right.
Thanks for hanging.
Peace.